Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Ever feel like you're playing Guess What's Wrong when it comes to maintaining your house?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Well, today we're tackling a part of home maintenance that often gets neglected until it's too late. The roof.
It's so easy to forget about. Out of sight, out of mind, right?
Exactly. But we're diving deep into a blog post today by the Melbourne metal roof experts, Heasley and Son Roofing. We're going to arm you with the knowledge to spot problems before they turn into those "oh no" moments.
Love those guys. They really know their stuff.
They do. So, you know how crucial your roof is, right? It's like a shield protecting everything inside.
For sure, super important.
But it's easy to forget about it until there's a problem, right? Like when that rainy day turns into a leaky nightmare inside. This deep dive is all about empowering you to be proactive, not reactive, with your roof care.
Love it.
Heasley and Son are big on simple, regular checks, not just waiting for something to go wrong. They break this routine down into manageable chunks, making it seem way less intimidating, even for someone who isn't exactly, a DIY guru.
That's so important, making it feel doable.
Totally. And what really struck me was how they tie this whole routine back to your home's value. It's not just about preventing damage, it's about protecting your investment.
Smart.
They actually cite studies showing that homes with well-maintained roofs, get this, command higher prices when it's time to sell.
No surprise there. Makes total sense.
Right. So let's get into their 15-minute checklist. They've cleverly divided it into 3 parts: ground level, inside check, and roof edge. So, starting with ground level, it's all about being observant from a safe distance. They talk about looking for things like sagging in the roof line, which honestly isn't as simple as it sounds.
Yeah, how do you even know it's a sag or just the natural slope?
Right.
Yeah.
So they give these great tips on what to look out for, like comparing your roof line to your neighbors or looking for areas where the roof seems to dip inwards.
Good tips.
And it's not just about the roof itself. They also talk about checking for debris, like piles of leaves or branches near your downspouts.
Ah, yeah, those pesky clogged gutters.
Exactly. Those could be clogging your drainage system, which can lead to water buildup that eventually seeps into your roof and causes damage. Not good. And now it's time for the inside check. This is where we get to play detective. Grab your flashlight, folks. We're heading to the attic, if you have one.
It's amazing what you can learn about your roof from inside the house.
Seriously. They talk about those telltale signs of water damage, like those brownish yellow stains.
Oh, yeah. I've seen those.
Who hasn't, right? On the ceiling or walls, usually.
Yeah.
Don't forget about using your other senses, too.
Oh, you mean like,
Feeling along the underside of your roof.
yeah.
See if you feel any dampness or changes in texture.
Right, right. Makes sense.
And they have this other clever tip check for drafts in the attic during the winter.
Drafty attic could be a sign, huh?
It could be your heating bill taking a hit, or it could be compromised insulation, letting in that cold air and potentially moisture from the outside.
Ah, I see.
And finally, the roof edge. This is where that ladder might come in.
The part everyone waits for.
Right. But safety first, always. Heasley and Son are super big on this. Don't attempt this part unless you're comfortable with heights. And always have a sturdy ladder and a spotter on hand.
Couldn't agree more.
So for those who are ready to climb, they emphasize things like checking for loose or missing metal sheets.
Well, yeah, especially in Melbourne, all that wild weather they get.
Exactly. Imagine a strong wind getting under one of those loose sheets. Recipe for disaster. They even tell you to check the fasteners holding those sheets in place.
Yeah, they get really detailed.
They do. What I found super interesting is their deep dive into all the different types of fasteners. Apparently with metal roofs, you've got screws, nails, and clips, each with their own pros and cons. And they don't just say, check if they're loose. They go into how to spot signs of corrosion or wear and tear, especially in those coastal areas.
Interesting. It's the little things,
Totally. They even had this bit about how the wrong type of fastener can actually make rusting worse.
Oh, really? How so?
Like
Oh,
using a screw that's too long can pierce through the metal sheet, and then boom, you've got a pathway for water to get in.
makes sense.
That's these little details I found super insightful.
For sure.
And speaking of rust, that's something they really emphasize throughout the whole blog post. They even have a whole section titled The Silent Enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really don't mess around when it comes to rust.
Yeah. It can get real bad real quick if you don't stay on top of it.
For sure. They even shared this story, right? About a homeowner who ignored a small rust spot, just a little patch on their gutter.
Oh.
Yeah, and within a year, it had eaten through the metal and caused this huge leak.
Ouch, that's going to cost, yeah.
Big time. And that story kind of highlights another key takeaway for me,
Hmm.
knowing when to call in an expert.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
They made a really good point about local roofers. Like these guys, Heasley and Son, they're in Melbourne. They know the specific challenges of that region.
Makes sense.
Right. Like they understand the climate, the common roofing materials, all those potential issues. It's kind of like going to a doctor who specializes in, your specific issue. You want someone who's seen it all and knows what's up.
Right, right. The right tool for the job.
Exactly. They actually recommend getting a professional inspection every few years, even if you're doing your 15-minute checks religiously.
Can't hurt to get a second opinion.
Exactly, like a pro's second opinion. They might catch something you missed or, have some insight into potential problems down the road.
Smart.
And it's not always the big scary stuff. They talk about how a pro can spot early signs of wear and tear, things you might not think twice about.
Like what?
I don't know, like cracked sealant around flashing or slightly loose shingles. Addressing those minor issues early can prevent them from becoming major, expensive headaches later.
Totally. Save yourself the stress.
Right. It really struck me how this whole deep dive has been about, like, empowering homeowners.
Taking control, right.
Yes. Take control, get that peace of mind.
Love that.
Like they said in the blog post, knowledge is power when it comes to protecting your home. So true, right? By understanding the basics of roof maintenance, being proactive with those simple checks, you're not just protecting your investment. You're also getting that peace of mind, knowing your roof and your home are in good shape.
Couldn't agree more. Prevention is key.
It is. It's funny. This whole roof conversation got me thinking about all those other silent guardians we have in our homes.
Silent guardians.
Like our HVAC systems, plumbing, electrical wiring. The things we kind of take for granted until they go haywire.
Oh, I see what you mean. The unsung heroes.
Exactly. Maybe it's time we give those a little deep dive attention too, huh?
Sounds like a plan for another episode.
Definitely. All right, everyone, that's a wrap on today's deep dive. Hope you learned something new about keeping a roof over your head,